Hi, I'm Efrem. I'm in the Press Corps HQ, and today we have Sergeant Matthew Jaffe, and we're talking to him about his experience in Afghanistan, and specifically a really important photo that was taken of him holding a baby during the evacuation of the Kabul airport. Is that right?
Yes. I really didn't find out about that picture until
Mm-hmm.
about a day or two later.
Mm-hmm. I actually read that it was your mother who figured out that you were actually deployed because of that photo, right?
No, she knew that we were deployed.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know exactly where we were because you can't really
Yeah, that makes sense.
give that away. Yeah, I started receiving texts, Instagram messages, Snapchats.
And you're like, what's going on?
I truthfully had no idea, and they're like, "Is this you?" I'm like, "Oh God, what was I photographed?"
Were you like, because you didn't really know that it had
No.
even happened, right?
No, I saw these UN photographers,
Mhm.
and they took a picture of me, but it was from my side.
Yeah.
And I was like, I noticed after they took it, I was like, hey, just
Mhm.
make sure that it looks good. And they're like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, it looks great. I'm like, cool.
So if you haven't seen that photo, basically you're holding a child in the airport who
Yes.
wasn't with his parents,
Correct.
and like you're surrounded by all this like military gear. And why do you think that photo resonated with so many people online, specifically during the evacuation?
So during the time of the evacuation, a lot of awful things were taking
Mhm.
place, given the news coverage and
Mhm.
videos that everyone saw. It was a very unfortunate
Mhm.
time for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think seeing a glimpse of hope and
Mhm.
something positive,
Mm-hmm.
it resonated with people
Mhm.
a great deal. Even though
Mm-hmm.
people reached out to me and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much." I'm like, "I'm just
Mhm.
an ordinary guy. I'm the same as everyone that I work with. We're all just there doing a job."
Mm-hmm. Well, it definitely resonated with us as a Jewish organization, and we're curious, what has your Jewish experience been like in part of the U.S. military?
It's certainly been unique. I've spent the Jewish holidays mostly overseas
Mhm.
or away from family. I had the opportunity before my first deployment to come home on what we call leave. It's basically vacation time for you to rest and refit
See
before
your family.
Yes. And I was able to go to SAJ, the temple that I
Mhm.
grew up going to, and they did a prayer for me,
Mhm.
and it was a very nice moment.
Mhm.
During, I think it was July, my cousin got married,
Mhm.
and during that time, my uncle actually gave me a little pocket siddur,
Mhm.
and I kept that with me
Mhm.
throughout my entire service. I put it in a little Ziploc bag
Mhm.
because I would put it in my flak, which is what, like,
Mhm.
our plate carrier,
Mhm.
essentially, our gear,
Yeah.
and I would put it in a pocket, but
Carry it
usually
around with you.
yeah, and usually you're sweating so much that I didn't want to bleed it, so I put it in a little Ziploc baggie, and on every single one of my deployments, it was with me.
When you're out of the country, have you been able to make a tight-knit Jewish community? Or have you been able to find that elsewhere?
I've actually found quite a few Jewish people in the U.S. military. My old platoon commander, Adam Strauss, he is Jewish,
Mhm.
and we bonded over that.
Mhm.
It was a very unique opportunity. So you
Yeah.
find us more,
Yeah, the power of us.
more often than you would think.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's incredible. And, Jews have a history of, having a unique force in the U.S. military. Well, I mean, I'm assuming you're glad this happened, right? Because now you're kind of going to be in like, not history books, but like photo books, and you're part of like, you're kind of like the face of a very specific like moment of the year.
I wouldn't say happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really something I asked for.
Yeah.
Just an ordinary guy doing
Mm-hmm. Protecting your
ordinary
country and
things,
protecting
yeah.
others.
What I feel is right, and
Mm-hmm.
a picture was blown up all over the
Mhm.
internet and the news, and here I am now.
Mhm.
It's pretty unique, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a very weird feeling.
And what comes next? Is that another tour, or is it
Now,
back with your family?
so in May of this
Mhm.
year, I'll be what we call EASing, end of
Mhm.
active service,
Mhm.
and I'll be going back into the civilian world.
Mhm.
And currently, I'm doing my master's program at Georgetown University
Mhm.
online in supply chain management, and I'm moving to Charlotte and hopefully finding a job related to that field.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
One more question for my chapter at home quiz, yay. We have a little thing that we ask every new member, and that's, what's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Obviously, it's Michelangelo.
All right, Michelangelo, that's a great choice. Thanks for coming and talking to us on
course.
Grace Corps HQ.
Thank you. I appreciate it.